Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I've got a few interesting headlines. Might be seeing some new crypto adoption coming in 2025, so it's kind of nice to see. We've got potentially E-Trade adding crypto, and maybe X payments will finally be heading our way. I do have a TradFi headline having to deal with Apple, so we will touch on that after we dive into the stock heat map. I've got that pulled up for y'all, and as you can see, we've got a bit of a mixed bag today. It started out with Apple down 2.62 from yesterday, sitting up 0.06 in the pre-market right now. We do have Nvidia, which is sitting up at 2.99, and the pre-market also doing quite nicely, up 0.6% right now. We've got Berkshire Hathaway down 0.48% from yesterday, sitting up 0.38 in the pre-market right now. We've got Amazon is sitting up 0.38% from yesterday, looking kind of neutral, and the pre-market sitting up just over 0.5% right now. We've got Eli Lilly, made some decent gains from yesterday, up 0.79%, and the pre-market up 0.03%. ExxonMobil sitting down just a smidge, down 0.24%, and the pre-market sitting up just a little bit, up 0.21%. We've got Microsoft is sitting down 0.69%. In the pre-market, taking back some of those losses, sitting up 0.42%. We've got Google sitting kind of neutral, up 0.1%, and in the pre-market, continuing those gains, up 0.28%. We've got Meta, which was sitting up quite nicely, just like Nvidia was, sitting up 2.34%, and the pre-market also continuing on those gains, up 0.34%. For the crypto side of things, everything's sitting kind of neutral right now. We do have Bitcoin, which is sitting down 0.09%. We've got Ethereum sitting up 0.32%. XRP sitting up 0.36%. Something I noticed the other day, which I did not touch on, was XRP switched places with Tether on the market cap. So starting to see some movements on some of these altcoins replacing some of your stable coins in their dominance. We do have Cardano up quite nicely, up 12.19%, sitting back over $1. We've got Dogecoin sitting up 0.322. We've got Solana sitting up at 2.97. BNB is sitting up 0.08, or down 0.08. That's my bad. We've got XLM sitting up at 3.13. Oh, just swapped. 3.43. We've got Shiba Inu sitting up at 1.57. TON is sitting up at 0.51. We've got Chainlink up at 2.84. Avalanche is sitting up at 5.49. And to wrap out those top projects, we've got Tron sitting down just a smidge, down 0.75. Let's hop over to the economic calendar real quick before we dive into that fear and greed and liquidation heat map. We do have a few Fed chairs that will be speaking tomorrow, so should hear some interesting information there. But the biggie for today is coming out at 10 a.m. We will be getting ISM manufacturing PMI. And as we saw in some other countries this past week, they saw a tick up on some of their PMI, which the forecast is to be the same. We'll just have to see if the same inflation pressures that we're seeing elsewhere in the world are also going to rear their ugly head here in America as well. That will be at 10 a.m. and that will be the big data drop for today. Other than that, it's gonna be a light Friday. Nothing too big coming out for the rest of the day. Next week we do have a lot of data dropping, so could be a bit of a volatile week for the first complete week of January. Also, my prediction for that first big pump into the new year. So we did get a bit of a move yesterday, and we'll take a look at that on the liquidation heat map. It was mostly just a liquidity grab. So stock side ticking back down. We are sitting at 26 in fear. No change from yesterday, but it is down from the beginning of the month. So crypto sitting up 4 points, back in 74, getting kind of close to that extreme fear again, which doesn't really bode well for some of these prices that we're hoping to see. We might blast into some extreme greed, tick back down, really confirm that bottom, scare some people out, kind of cool back down on things before we really blast on out of here. Just really waiting to see if we find that floor now or if this ends up being more of a correction or sideways movement phase. I do think we get a bit of some moves next week though, as we are going to see some heavy data. We got the FOMC minutes coming out next week and should be a nice indicator on how the FOMC is preparing for 2025. I believe they will address some of the big changes that we will see under the new administration, which they've talked about they won't be preemptive about, but that they will react to. So some of their thoughts on the new administration will probably be coming out in these FOMC minutes. We do have the liquidation heat map with both hotspots on either side of us. The big hotspot is going to be to the top side. We do have some light liquidity that is sitting down from 95,875 going all the way down to 95,569. That's going to be the more light hotspot for the morning. Sitting right underneath us, not too far of a reach to get down there. We do have a hotspot starting at 97,866 and a range for a hotspot sitting at the 98,173 all the way up to 98,000, almost 500 there. That's going to be that 1 day chart for you. Let's zoom it on out a little bit. I do like to look at that 3 day because sometimes when your market is volatile, you will take what you would normally be a more longer term liquidity and you will grab that up extremely quick before you kind of create some new liquidity there as you drop back down or you pump back up if you're grabbing that bottom side. So we do have that same kind of range sitting on that 3 day. It goes up just a bit higher though. We do have liquidity stacking up almost to that 98,625. So bunch of liquidity on the top side. You do have some few light hotspots sitting to the bottom of us on that 3 day, right from the lows before we started moving back up. There's some at 95,893. There is some down here at 92,627 and a brief range here at 94,260. If you zoom it on out to that weekly, you can kind of see that for the higher term time frames, the liquidity is stacking back up to the top side. Kind of a bit of a drag there for some market makers that might pull price up just a bit higher. I think that's coming next week. Let's hop over to the chat real quick before we dive into the Bitcoin chart, I've got username in here saying hello, hello, the voice of morning crypto. Good morning to you, username. Hope you're having a great day so far. Got your caffeine in you and you're ready to make some moves. We've got Buck in here as well. Good morning, big dog. And username saying good morning to Buck. Hope y'all are having a great morning so far and got your caffeine in you and you're ready to dive into these charts. Let's take a look at the 1 day here. As you can kind of see, your 1 day is still sitting on that red liquidity, which we've been waiting to switch over to green. It's been a thing for most of the market, as we've kind of dove through a bunch of the assets this past week. A lot of them on the higher term time frames are sitting in that red. We are wanting to see that green switch on the higher term time frames. You have gotten some like 1 hour green liquidity, but all of this is not making any dents on your 1 day, which is why it's been more of a sideways move. And we've, as you've seen this morning and yesterday, kind of rejected off of that 50% fib line that I talked about yesterday. That was that 96,800. We've made a doji candle here, very indecisive. You do see some curvature on your prime oscillator and a switch to the light red. Really going to need to see that green liquidity coming in there, buying things up to kind of decide if we're going to be able to push that too much farther to the upside. You do have that MACD, which is getting some solid curvature there. As you can see, it is approaching that indicator line, which just dropped below 0. So if we can keep dragging that indicator line down just a little bit with some of that selling pressure and get a quick liquidity switch, which moves things to the upside, then we could really see that price start coming back up to ranges that we haven't been in since, I'm going to say it, last year, which was Christmas Eve. We did see that push back up to 382 and that attempt at another $100,000 price range. That's what we're all waiting for. I did say if we can turn this golden pocket back at 94.70 into some support, then we're kind of in that bullish sentiment. Really still waiting on that. We did get it on a bit of a lower term time frame. If you look at that 15-minute, you kind of see that it turned the golden pocket into some quick support. I'm really wanting to see that on something like a 4-hour chart or a daily chart. You do have a bunch of liquidity sitting right around that golden pocket as well, which is kind of a bearish pull for some of these market makers, considering that there's about $100 million sitting there for the short-term time frames. So still waiting to see if this golden pocket can be turned into some support, or if this doji candle is going to be more bullish and we turn that 50% fib line into support, that 96,800, and completely ignore that golden pocket and we just blast on through it. Does happen, but I would like to see it turned into some support to be completely bullish on things. Sometimes it's better to wait and confirm, miss out on a percentage or two to really have that full faith in the move that you're about to make. I am a swing trader, so it's a little bit different for me there. Let's zoom in just a little bit, take a look at that 4-hour chart. As you can kind of see here, we do have that green liquidity on the 4-hour, but you're seeing a bit of some topping signals here. You got your curvature on your prime oscillator, no overbought signals, just the first reversal signal flash. I do believe if we do get that push back up above that 50% on your fib line and it isn't able to maintain that, we'll start seeing those other reversal signal flash on your prime oscillator, as well as some overboughts. Really going to depend more on some of that shorter term liquidity here. You've got your MACD, which is also getting that same curvature as well. Let's zoom it on out just a little bit so you can get that better view on it. As you can see here, your MACD getting that nice curvature, moving a bit sideways right at this moment, kind of waiting to see as we have that doji candle on the 1 day if it's going to switch just a little bit and kind of become a little more bullish, or if it's going to be more bearish. Just waiting to see how that all plays out with some of these shorter term liquidity. You do have the 1 hour, which is kind of signaling that a little bit of a push back to the upside is plausible. We do have the curvature on your MACD, which is looking across that indicator line on the top side of things, which is pretty bullish, but waiting to see that liquidity, like on the daily, switch over from red outflows to green inflows. So got that reversal signal on the bottom, switched from dark red to light red, but really not seeing that affect the price too much, as it's all been more of a sideways move for now. So really going to need that liquidity switch back in. We could get that quick move back above that 50% line on your fib before kind of dragging back down, as your 4 hour was looking a little bearish. Your daily isn't looking right now to kind of blast off. Still waiting on that liquidity switch back to the green. Let's take a look at that 15-minute, kind of see what the morning might look like. You do have that green liquidity sitting quite nicely and ticking back up. It is a slight inflows here, getting some topping signals, the kind of curvature on things, not getting any reversal signals yet or any overbought signals either. So definitely could be making that push back to the top side of our 50% fib line. Just waiting to see if we can turn that into some support. I don't believe that we hold that and turn it into some support and we drag down just a little bit further. We do have that data drop coming out at 10 a.m. So that might be where we really see that decision on if we're bullish or bearish. If we do see, like the rest of the world, and our PMI ticks back up just a little bit higher, that is not what we want to see, and is more of a bearish signal on things. So really waiting to see if we can turn this 50% line into some support, or if we're going to come back down and retest this 94,070 range, which was that golden pocket, and really turn that into some support going into the next week before we really confirm our move to the upside. All right, I did see some new people in chat this morning, so let's say hello to them. We've got K Diggity saying good morning. We've got Nick in here. Good morning, Nick. Haven't seen you here in quite a while. We've got K Diggity saying it's going to be fine, not too worried about it since I plan on holding. I'm getting a little more bullish on this market as a whole every day, but always if this then that. Most definitely. And that's kind of how you have to play the market as a trader. If this, then that. If not this, then probably that. And that's how you kind of protect your capital and are able to find more moves in the market. Because, you know, there are those key levels. If you don't hold those key levels, then you're probably going to go down to other key levels. And that's kind of how you have to play things. Username saying a lot of people on the tube don't seem to care for near much. Head scratcher to me. Yep. And there's a lot of good projects out there, but on the whole, you have to stick with it. What is going to be bringing the best liquidity and has the best utility. So those two in combination, when they have the right pairs, will really make you that money. I've been in near for quite a while. It's I'd say my fourth favorite alt, because it does not be out injective. I do like their DeFi protocols. It is quite amazing, and they've got a lot of real world potential for things like insurance, where instead of insurance payouts being through a company or all of that, you have that all handled by DeFi. And that's something that has been floated before. You really need the adoption on the real world use case side of things. And I think Injective, with how fast it moves, has a lot of potential on the DeFi side of things to really bring that there. I do love Near. Near is that layer one, which is able to move information very, very quickly attached to its blockchain, which has great potential for AI, which is why a lot of people lump it in with that AI. So when AI does get that pump, Near gets that pump as well. But it is that layer one DPIN, and it is used to move a lot of information. Nick saying Near is a hidden gem for a low risk play, in my opinion. Most definitely. And that's why it's a little lower on my allocations. It is about my fifth largest bag, though it is my fourth favorite. It's kind of hard to beat out that spot for me right now, because I do see it as being such a nice low risk play. It's got that chance to at least double up right now, which, I mean, a double up is quite nicely. I was back in at $1 and then sold back at 7, so it was well more than a double up. And those highs of 7, when we're sitting in that back in that kind of I believe it was $3. Let's see. I don't know how much higher it's pumped. We do have Near back at that $7 range. So getting that nice move up, I will have to dive back into that here a little bit later. I'll make a note of that. Got Near on the list. I don't know if anyone else has any alts they'd like me to take a look at, but I can definitely do that after I hop into these news articles. We've got, oh my goodness, the chat flying. We've got Diggity, you sub $1. If you don't close below 90, I think that's bullish AF, but I'm expecting to see 80 at some point, which is where on Bitcoin I have talked about for quite a while. I have some lower side targets here, which if we don't turn the golden pocket into some support, we come down and we grab some of the liquidity that was sitting down here in this 88,000 to 86,700 range. It's a bit of an order block down there as well. So really waiting to see where we end up holding. If not, there's a bit of a drag down to the bottom side. I do hold quite a bit of different coins. Too many at this point, actually, says Buck. Let's see. We got Al Jr. in here with the good morning. Good morning, Al Jr. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Got your caffeine and are ready to hit these charts. Oh my goodness. Let's see. We've got Feel Ya Bud, but INJ is shiny. Yes, and that's why I like Injective. It is done quite nicely, and it's got a lot of VC backing as well. Let's see. Username. Is Cass dead yet, or someone poking it with a stick? And that's something we're probably going to see a lot this at least this cycle. People trying to hold on to those projects that are kind of slowly dying off, and trying to breathe some life into them. You know, they've been holding it for quite a while. They missed out on that top, so really waiting to see if that moves to the upside. Let's see. Anything else I'm seeing? Yeah, not the same thing that I was thinking there. Let's remove that chat. There we go. Boom. All right. Don't have any mods in here this morning, so got that one all handled. Let's hop into the first news article that I have for today, and that's about Morgan Stanley, who is the owner of E-Trade, potentially adding crypto to their platform. The brokerage reportedly cited expectations of a crypto-friendly regulatory environment under the incoming U.S. President Donald Trump as a key consideration. Morgan Stanley, one of the world's largest asset managers, is considering adding cryptocurrency to its E-Trade platform online brokerage, according to a January 2nd report by the information. Wealth manager reportedly cited expectations of a friendlier crypto regulatory environment under United States President-elect Donald Trump as a key consideration. Trump has promised to appoint industry-friendly leaders to a key regulatory agency and make the U.S. the world's crypto capital. The plans would make E-Trade one of the biggest traditional retail brokerages to add support for crypto trading, potentially creating a meaningful competition for incumbent platforms such as Coinbase. Morgan Stanley bought E-Trade in 2020. The brokerage's 5.2 million accounts collectively hold approximately $360 billion, the information said. Brokerages embrace crypto. Other traditional retail brokerages offering crypto trading include Robinhood, Fidelity, and Interactive Brokers. Charles Schwab reportedly also has plans to add crypto trading this year, according to Bloomberg. Available tokens on these platforms are generally more limited than crypto native centralized exchanges such as Coinbase. Crypto trading has been a lucrative business for online brokerages. Robinhood's Q3 2024 results show that crypto trading volume and crypto revenue soared 112% and 165% year on year, coming to 14.4 billion and 61 million respectively. In June, Robinhood agreed to acquire Bitstamp Crypto Exchange in a $20 million deal that would enable it to serve institutional investors in the United States. Meanwhile, incumbent Coinbase clocked revenues of $1.2 billion in the third quarter of 2024, primarily from its crypto trading businesses. And this just kind of touches on the fact that Morgan Stanley was one of the earlier banks to kind of dip their toes into the crypto space. When the ETFs dropped, they were the first bank to kind of tell everyone that, hey, we're going to allow you to talk to our investors and suggest to them to hold the Bitcoin ETF, and they are the holders of the Bitcoin and a bunch of these ETFs as well. So just kind of waiting to see what more adoption gets brought in this year in 2025, which might also include X payments. I don't know why it's holding that up. There we go. New code fuels rumors X payments launch may be imminent. An apparent leak of the latest software code behind Elon Musk's X has sparked rumors that X Money, its anticipated payment systems, may soon launch. X has been working to obtain money transmitter licenses across the United States for X Money, securing licenses in 39 states so far. A purported screenshot of the latest code shows the line X Money is not available in your state, leading some observers, including American entrepreneur Alex Finn, to speculate that it may launch in the U.S. without approval from all 50 states. X Money would allow X users to tip content creators on the platform. Some speculate that cryptocurrencies could be a role given Musk's previous openness to Bitcoin and Dogecoin payments in his other businesses. And quite recently, I don't know if anyone paid attention, but he did swap his profile picture over to a meme for a brief second and made someone several $1 million. So he does have a big role in crypto, and he has speculated that he would have some crypto as an opportunity for payments. So X payments is one way or another will support cryptocurrency, Finn said. It's self-hosted X Spaces, adding that it is the fastest way to move currency. Crypto will probably be a good amount of rails for X payments. X CEO Linda Yacarino confirmed in a December 31st X post that the social media platform would launch X Money in 2025. However, X hasn't confirmed the legitimacy of the source code leaked by Mac Rumors, contributing researcher Aaron Paris, or whether an X Money launch would be imminent. This is kind of something that we're waiting to see. If it is true, X Money would first launch in the 39 states where X has obtained a money transmitter license. The payment features won't immediately be supported in Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Indiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Montana, New York, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin. Nah, that's on Tesla. But, you know, considering that Musk has already accepted payments and Doge for some of its payments and things, as well their shirts and things like that. For a brief while, Elon Musk accepted Bitcoin to purchase their cars. It is a feasible assumption that crypto would be a big part of X payments, especially considering as it is the fastest way to move money with the transaction open and transaction closed, with money actually with the whole transaction being done at that point. Whereas then if you do it with Visa or you do it with MasterCard or any of these other services, it will take 3 days for that payment to actually go through end to end. Let's see, had a bit of drama in the chat after that one. Let's see. XIA, it's crap. You guys spam all the chats. Well, thank you there, Nick. You're going to tell me Elon has given the green light. Get out of here. Let's see. Smacking on some popcorn. I guess username is enjoying the chats this morning. Buck, but did you buy it just to mine Caspa? All right. Let's see. Soul ripping back to the upside. Brian the botanist. We can take a look at Soul if you would like me to take a look at that one as well. Will it be in the state of Canada? Username with the jokes. We've got Dante Cabrero in here. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. Let's see. You said, will it be in the state of Canada? It said nothing so far about Canada being a part of X payments. I do think he might have a bit of some trouble trying to get that permission there, but I do think eventually we will see it being a global thing, especially since Twitter has a good global profile and a good group of global users that would allow it to kind of branch out a little farther than just being in the US. The US is very strict about money and payments, so it's more of the hurdle. Whereas in like you can kind of get away with more things in other places, so you don't really need the permission. Where it's like, okay, well, we can just do this, and they allow it, and they don't have those harsh rules. HBAR 2, quite exciting, long time for the first time. Would you like me to take a look at HBAR as well? I can definitely dive into those charts right after I touch on this next news article and kind of dive through some of those more TradFi things that I wanted to take a look at. I touched on the Dixie yesterday. We did get that move that I was talking about, and kind of moving back down on the Dixie. So if anyone has any other alt requests, I have Near and Soul on the list to take a look at. Drop those in the chat for me. All right. We've got Apple agrees to pay $95 million to settle class action lawsuit over recordings tied to Siri. This is just a big headline. Kind of doesn't have anything that I'm really wanting to dive too heavy into. We all know that all of these technology companies take full advantage of their users. They have big giants agreements that you have to sign on, and most people aren't reading these. So you don't actually know what's going on, what you're fully agreeing to, and that's what they take advantage of. This is just a lawsuit that they're having to settle, and it's coming out to $95 million. And it looks like they might be re-implementing some of the features tied to Siri and holding recordings, although they say that the recordings will be deleted. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I've never been a big fan of iPhone, and this is just one more reason that I don't fully trust it. Yes, they're extra secure, but at what cost are you paying your security? And apparently, it's your information, which we all know is the cost with technology. That is what you're signing away every single time. You're signing away uh, rights to invade your privacy. So just a $95 million payout by Apple to settle this lawsuit. I did have the Russell 2000 that I was taking a brief look at. We came back down to some levels that I'd been wanting to see for quite a while. We've got the 382 sitting right below us, a lot of negative space if we come back down below that, but we are looking kind of bullish. The Russell 2000 is that small stock composite. So if we do get that move to the upside, it's looking a little more risk on. We say, oh, XDC. Let me know what exchange you'd like that looked on. I've never heard of that project before. And HBAR as well. So after I hop into the Russell and then take a look at the Dixie, we will hop into that alt request list. Apple got caught, the others do. Samsung few years ago was busted for their TVs watching you. Yep, and this is the price of the information world that we live in. So if you use something, there's that sometimes unwritten agreement that you're allowing them to spy on your entire life. So definitely something that is going to be more and more of a problem as we're progressing into the future, which oh, I didn't get that added to the description, but we do have a sale on I believe it was NordVPN. Let me get that pulled up real quick. We've got a VPN deal, which is going on NordVPN. Uh, let's see, where was it? I'll drop that in the chat for you. Yep, NordVPN. Gonna be 74% off, and if you click that, 74% off for now. And that's how you can kind of get around some of these trackers on the internet. I use a VPN on all my devices. It kind of helps with a bunch of the trackers. It keeps you from being spied on in more ways. It also adds a lot of security when trading crypto. So just something to check out. Check out that NordVPN. 74% off right now. So we've got the Russell 2000 kind of at that point where we're looking to push back into a CME gap that we ended up closing when the whole market was bullish. We did create a fair value gap on the way down there. So let's delete that and delete this other CME gap so that we can draw out this fair value gap here. Go from the candle before it there, the bottom side of it, going to the top side of the candle next to it. Let's make that purple because that's what we draw our fair value gaps as here. Let's lock that out. As you can kind of see, we rejected off of the bottom side of it, and we're looking to kind of push back into the fair value gap there. So waiting to see if we can get that switch of liquidity on the 4 hour. Let's zoom it on in to that 1 hour and kind of show you how we're sitting on money flow. Money flow is sitting nice and green. It is moving more sideways. We've got your prime oscillator, which is looking to kind of get that curvature back to the upside, sitting in the red right to second. Your MACD is kind of at that same point. We're sitting right above the indicator line and getting some curvature, managing to stay to the top side of it. If we can maintain that green liquidity on your shorter term time frames, we'd really push back in to that fair value gap and kind of end up coming to the midline. Gonna be that $2,294 range that we really want to see turned into some support. But if things aren't overly bullish on PMI data today, you could definitely look at that being a point of local resistance. Let's hop over to the Dixie real quick before we dive into those alt requests. As I had said yesterday, the range that I would want to see us turn from resistance into some support was at $109. We did a wick above it for a brief second. Let's zoom that out to the weekly so you can kind of view there. This comes from the wick back above this 236 before we got the move to the downside. Yep, that 236. Before we got that move back down to the downside, we did get some touches on it here, confirmed it as support, which allowed me to really draw that line out before we kind of moved on up to the upside. Those were drawn from a shorter term time frame there where we got the touches that kind of confirmed it as some support. So really waiting to see if we can break that again. The dollar is looking a little like it could be topping out quite on after some moves. So gonna have to zoom that in to our shorter term time frame to really see what we can kind of top out at. You do have your weekly looking extremely bullish. You have been seeing some buying back up on some of the short-term bonds, which is definitely the move that we kind of want to see, the strength being brought back into the dollar. Some of those longer term bonds did get a bit of a sell-off yesterday, but your shorter term being bought up brought some great strength back into the dollar. Let's zoom it on in, take a look at that daily real quick. We've got your daily sitting at that point where it's about to tick back over to green, sitting at that light green at the moment. It did tick back to the green on your prime oscillator, so looking to get that quick move to the upside. You do have your MACD, which is looking to potentially keep running, but it is getting some light movements sideways, which could lead to some curvature. I do think we do see the big move coming at 10 o'clock either way when we get that PMI data. So really waiting to see how the morning goes. We've got that 15-minute chart on the Dixie is sitting in that light green, light green, light red for the money flow. Kind of indecisive. Your prime oscillator is moving more just sideways. Let's get that chart a little bit better to see. Was just paying attention to those indicators there. As you can kind of see, it's more of a downish trend. Looking to confirm that platinum pocket potentially as some support there. So just really waiting to see that move back to the upside. I don't know why it moved that up. Let's move that back up. There we go. Got your MACD getting a bit of sideways movement on the bottom side of things and really waiting to see that curvature back to the upside with that money flow ticking back green on things. Going to need to see that bond market getting bought back up. All right, let's hop back over to near. We did have near requested, and then we can take a look at Sol. XDC, I didn't see a exchange that you'd like me to take a look at that on, so if there's a certain exchange, drop that in the chat for me. And then HBAR as well, I can take a look at that one. We've got near, which is doing it quite nicely. Let's zoom that on out to our daily and kind of see where we're sitting on some more higher term time frames. You've got money flow, which is still sitting red. just like the rest of the market, but just because you're sitting on red liquidity on your higher term time frames doesn't mean you can't get that move to the upside. It just means there's some bearish pressure there on some of your higher term time frames. So you might bump up against a local resistance area and that turn into some resistance there before you drag back down. You've got some nice curvature here on your MACD. Just cross that indicator line on the bottom side of things. Really waiting to see how much that money, where that money flow is sitting on your shorter term time frames before I can kind of gauge things out. But this does look a little bit bullish on things, and to see that money flow start bleeding upwards from your shorter term time frames to your higher term time frames is really going to be that blast to the upside. You do have your 382, which is sitting right above us at $5.91. We did get that bounce off of my buy area. We almost came down to the middle side of it. And really, before we really got that move back up, username seeing bring me back sub $5. Well, if you bought down here, you don't really need sub $5. You've been stacking up. You've been stacking up. I think you do get another opportunity to buy on that. So keep some areas that are keep some alerts drawn out so that you can kind of get those prices again. I do think we do battle with this 382 here, that $5.91 before we really kind of decide either way whether we're going to get sub $5 again or if we continue that move to the upside. So let's zoom it on in just a little bit. Take a look at that 4 hour. As you can kind of see here, the 4 hour money flow is sitting nice and green on the prime oscillator as well, looking to curve back up. Your MACD is getting that same kind of curvature where we're curving up away from our indicator line. As you can kind of see here, we're in the process of creating a fair value gap on our higher term time frames. So definitely going to be an area that we might come back down to if we reject off of this prime oscillator. We did get a reversal signal right here, which we completely negated with green money flow. So definitely something to keep in mind if we can continue that money flow before we make another reversal signal. It might be completely negated and we end up getting that move to the continued move to the upside. You've got your 1 hour with green liquidity as well, moving kind of sideways on things. So definitely kind of a indicator that we could at least maintain some of the floors that we've set here at this local level. You do have the bottom side being about that $5.40, where if we end up rejecting off of this 382, that $5.91, that could kind of drag back down to that $5.37 there, all the way up to about $5 and let's see from the top here, about $5.50, kind of about a 10-cent range there, which there was a lot of buying and selling pressure in both directions, which would be a nice area to retest and do battle in if we reject off that $5.91. Your MACD is getting that nice curvature to the upside. Your prime oscillator is at that point where we could start flashing some reversal signals. Got some overbots showing, but no reversal signals flying out yet. Would want to see that money flow kind of ticking to the red to kind of signal that reversal is actually coming. Let's take a look at that 15-minute real quick. As you can see here, the 15-minute stacking up a bit of a divergence. Your MACD's still got plenty of room to run though, and money flow with it being so green there, all the way from your 4 hour all the way down, looking like we might negate that divergence for now and continue to the upside. The prime oscillator is a bit red on the 15-minute, but that doesn't mean that we don't see that kind of same move that we saw right back here, where it ticked red and continued to move on up, got green, created a divergence there, which could be another thing to happen right quickly as we continue to move back to the upside, potentially battle against that $5.91, create a few divergences along the way, and really drag back down, retest some of the levels that we kind of just blasted through extremely quickly on that higher term time frame. That 4 hour, as you could see there, we're creating a fair value gap, and we've got one right here as well. I don't know if we really come back below that $5.40 range for right now. Really going to depend on the data drop. Let's take a look at Sol real quick. As you can see, Sol is back above that 382 that I was wanting to see as some support right on the top side of that fair value gap. Let's zoom it on in just a little bit to that 1 hour. You got your green money flow on the 4 hour, looking to negate some of that reversal and overbought signals as your prime oscillator is getting that curvature to the upside. Let's take a look at that 1 hour. As you can kind of see here, the 1 hour has the nice green money flow. We did stack up some divergences before this move on up above your 382, which could potentially confirm as some support here. The green money flow is a nice signal here, where if we just come back down, kind of move a little sideways like we did here, and cool down a lot, it allows us to move quite higher on things. If you can see here, I did talk the other day about that $2 and that $218 being a point where we might see some more resistance. So turning that 382 into some support and coming back up to a range that we haven't been in for a little while, and trying to really get to that $220 range. I do think if we turn this into some support here, it is looking quite bullish for Sol. You do have some reversal signals that could potentially flash here soon. It's really going to depend on how that money flow is able to maintain. If we do see that money flow ticking over from green over to red on your 1 hour, then it might drag things back down. But if your money flow bleeds over from your 1 hour to your 4 hour, switching things over to green, then it's looking pretty bullish for more of a long-term pump. So let's zoom it on in just a little bit. Take a look at that 15-minute. As you can see here, let's zoom it on in. Move that down and over so y'all can get a better view. We are getting plenty of reversal signals here on that 15-minute as we've gotten closer and closer to our 382 here. We have negated a lot of these reversal signals with quick money flows coming back in and really keeping us stacking up divergences here on the 15-minute. There's a bit of a hidden divergence here, and we're looking to kind of create some higher highs while creating lower lows here on our prime oscillator, kind of stacking up some divergences, which would allow us to kind of just to move sideways in this range if we can confirm it as support and cool things off just a little bit before continuing the run to the upside, especially since green money flow on the 15-minute, green money flow on the hour, green money flow on that 4 hour as well. And that green money flow on the 4 hour is really looking to bleed over into your daily and have all things running off. So just looking to really get back up to that 220 range and kind of turn it into some support. There's heavy there's some heavy selling pressure right above 220 at that 200 and about 23 to 25 range. There's a lot of selling pressure there that we're going to battle up against. I did have XDC. I didn't see an exchange request for it, so I'm going to take a quick look at HBAR before I dive into that one. We've got HBAR, which I have not looked at in quite a while, but is making another move, just like your more established projects have, like XRP and ADA, which I did see talked about. And if I got 5 minutes, I might not have time to take a look at ADA, but like the rest of these established projects, HBAR has great utility and has been making that move to the upside. We are sitting right above that 50% line on our Fibonacci retracement that I've had drawn out for quite a while. As you can kind of see, it goes all the way from the beginning of last cycle and kind of goes all the way up to the top there. We got clean bounces off of that platinum pocket. As soon as we were able to reclaim that platinum pocket as some support here, we blasted on off back into ranges we haven't seen in quite a while. That 382 was more of a resistance area, and it looks like we're going to try to rebattle that here again, as we're moving back to the upside on our prime oscillator, and our MACD is getting that solid curvature on the upside to cross that indicator line and get that pump back up. We will have to see how the 4 hour is looking on money flow, which is looking quite green, just like Solana is, really negating some of that reversal signal there. And if we end up kind of continuing that push to the upside, we do have that 382, which is sitting right above us at 36 cents, which could be another local resistance area. Let's zoom it on in to that 1 hour, kind of see how that's looking there. We've got plenty of room to run on the 1 hour as well. We're getting up to a point where it's getting a bit toppy, so cooling off just a little bit. As you can kind of see here, just flashed an overbought signal as I was talking about things. So a bit toppy, where we could see a bit of some cool off, just like with Solana, before we really continue that move to the upside. That 382 is going to be that area where I think we see the more local resistance before a bit of confirmation here that this 50% line is actually support here, because it's been a battle area for quite a while since the beginning of December. So really going to need to see that confirmed as some support here. We did get the quick bounce off of it on the hourly here before we continue this move to the upside, as we got up to that 32-cent range, which was selling pressure all back here. We have seen a wick created, so going to need to see if that area can be confirmed as a support area. Let's see what the 15 minutes looking like. Yep, getting a bit of some top-end signals here. Your green money flow, though, on your 15-minute, as well as it was on Solana, kind of confirms that we could see a bit of some continuation on the pump. That's where that 36 cents kind of comes in as a topside target on things. It is 6:58, so I will kind of wind down the show for now. I appreciate every single one of you that shows up every day. We had some people talking. Let's see. ADA, I don't have time to kind of take a look at it, but I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Got that 12% move to the upside, so things are looking back really nice for ADA, back above that $1 range. Kind of what a lot of people have been hoping to see. Let's see, is that Binance staking? Don't know why people wouldn't use a Yori wallet or etc. instead of exchange. I like one of my wallets as well that allows me to kind of buy things and stake things in there without having to really use some of these exchanges. Liquid staking is nice. People who are confused with crypto and want to stake on the exchange, I just tell them that if they plan to hold for a long time, put it in a cold wallet and forget it. Call me when you want to move it. Oh, I guess you're talking about some of did you find that wallet? Oh no, he said I found $100 in a wallet in my oh in my pants after it gone through washing. Found an old wallet with some staked ADA, like finding like finding $100 in pants after it's gone through the washing machine. Let's see, username. I am sure BC wishes he could find some of the pocket change BTC from back in his Silk Road buying flour. Oop. Yeah, I wish. My parents threw away our old home computer, so that stuff's all bye bye. BC, your background should be in space and you in an astronaut suit. Why, you ask? Because you can. Well, maybe one of these days we have some more fun show. So I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Market Report with Piper and OC Guy, where he breaks down some of the data that we see every single day. We do have that 10 a.m. data drop, so about halfway through his show, he will get that chance to break down that data for you. We do have FD White and TradeFly with the crypto nightcap every Monday through Thursday, and every Sunday through Thursday we have Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. Tune into that one if you're a late night person and you enjoy some shenanigans. We also have every Monday through Friday, just like mine and Piper's, we have Trade Intuition with the Trade Academy. That is at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So Monday through Friday, we do have those three shows every single day. And Monday through Thursday, we have FD White with the nightcap and TradeFly. And we also have Markets After Dark that Monday through Thursday as well. So if you haven't hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate the free support. If you haven't subbed to the channel and you're new, we do have a whole batch of shows that we do at the Piper Academy. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. I see Crypto Billy. Good morning, just as the show's winding down. I will see you in the Alex O Crypto chat because it's that time and that man just started his show. So thank you, everyone. Make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.